You gotta have your tea when you're rebuilding engines. Ooh, it's hot. It's good. Warm me up. So I've got some cleaning to do. That's what I'm going to do next. And then we are going to install the head. A couple of things I got to do. I have to come up with a way of pushing that exhaust and turbo and manifold and everything over so that I can drop that head straight on. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that dipstick. I'm going to yank it right up out. It's got like a 10mm bolt on it. That's it. And then there'll be O-rings where it goes into the sump, right? No big deal. Oh, I'm pulling that because when I took the head off, I got caught up on it. So yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that in the video where I took the head off or not, because it was all sped up. Just to make it easier to go back in, I'm just going to take that dipstick out because it's in the way. I don't want to have to try and, maneuver that head down to the top, but it's heavy. It's just going to be sore on the old back anyway, so I just try to make it easy on me. I'm going to, how I get these ready, or real, I guess top tip for you if you're putting an engine back together. What I like to do is go over everything, all the surfaces that need to be cleaned. I like to go over it and clean them. And I'll say 85–90%. They're not perfect. And then when I go to reassemble everything, I clean each surface at a time. So like when I go to drop the head on, I'll do my final cleaning on the top of the block and the bottom of the head, mate those two surfaces together. When I go to do the front cover, same thing. I'll give it another final cleaning, make sure there's all the old silicone's gone, put that together, and so on and so on and so on. If you go through and clean everything absolutely perfect, and then you try and reassemble everything, the likelihood of you getting some dirt or debris in there is just kind of high. So I like to clean them all up first, just so that they're super shiny, and then do a final clean. And another reason I like to do that is because visually, when you go to put something back together, just look for the shiny spots, because that's where you're going to need to put your silicone. So that's kind of why I do it. There are probably better ways of doing it. I don't freaking know. It's the way I've always done it for over 20 years. So it's always worked. That's what I do. So yeah, enough talking. Let's do it. Let's get this head on. So I really don't know what you guys saw there, because I fucking panicked. But this back bolt cross-threaded. So, let me show you what happened to it. It about puckered up my asshole. I do have it fixed. But I did ruin one of the head studs. One of the new ones. So I'm going to rethread the top of this head stud. I'm going to put a die on it, cut the threads back into it, and then make sure this one goes in and out of there. It was going in perfectly straight. For some reason, it just fucking cross-threaded. So I had to rip it all back off. I took the sealant off the gasket and the surface. I'm going to take it back off the head here again and fucking start over. But you don't... I mean, as soon as I felt it get tight, I stopped. That was it. Get it back out of there. I ran a tap back into the block, and I got it. But fucking hell, that shit will pucker up your asshole. So let me go fix this, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I got my bolt fixed. It only took a minute. I think I know what happened. It might be hard to get on camera, but there's a little piece of the bolt thread is broken. And I don't think I broke that. There's a hard break in it right here. And then I think what happened when I just went to run it in, because that piece was broken off, it caught the side of the block, and you know, that's a brand new bolt too. I mean, that's, you know, it's a brand new bolt, and I think it had a broken thread. So I'm gonna check the rest of them, and then we're gonna redo this. So those are tight. It's 33 to 34 Newton meters, or 33 point something Newton meters to 36 point something. First pass around, and then 90 degrees, go around them, and then 90 degrees again, go around them in the same order. That's pretty tight. Not sure what how this is going to edit out and what you're going to be able to see or not see, but you're going to see the head going on and you're going to see it coming off. And what happened, the number 9 bolt in the torque sequence, the very back left bolt as you're looking at it. I was going to go run all the bolts in with my little Milwaukee battery operated 3/8, and when I got to that back one, it started and then just stopped about 4 or 5 threads in. So I was like, whoa, hit the brakes, panic time. You don't want to cross thread something in the block. So I took that bolt back out, and what happened to that bolt, and it wasn't my fault, that bolt had a thread that was broken. And I didn't know. I mean, I didn't even think to check the bolts to see the brand new bolts. But there was a thread, the bolt must have banged up against another one and chipping, and a little chip had come out of one of the threads. And it was like the third thread up, so as it went down, it caught and stopped. So I took it back out, I looked at the bolt, I saw the piece was missing, and I was like, oh, and the piece isn't in there. So it was definitely, it didn't look like a fresh break either. So, panic stations, I pulled the head back off, pulled the gasket off, cleaned it up. I mean, I hadn't tightened anything down, like nothing. Not a single bolt had gotten tightened. So the head gasket should be totally fine. Cleaned all the silicone off it and all that crap. And went in, figured out what was going on with the bolt. And then I had to run a tap down through into the block. And I don't have very long, like my tap sets, they're not long, they're just standard size. So I couldn't even use the tap wrench. I ended up holding it with a finger and using a spanner and just, re-tapping the threads. And it was tight, and you back it off, break the chips, all that stuff. I had tap fluid in there, tap magic, all that stuff. And then just as I was running out of space with the spanner, it freed and caught the good threads, and I could spin it up and down. Panic over, right? So then I took the die and put that in the vise, and I ran that same bolt in and out of that die with, I think it was 11.15 was the thread on it. So cleaned up that bolt, and then I checked the damaged bolt and a good bolt in the back hole that was damaged, and then I checked both bolts in a hole that wasn't damaged. Everything worked perfectly. So I was like, okay, just to be on the safe side, I put the damaged bolt in a different hole. Literally 3 threads were damaged. It's not a big deal. It's not going to cause any problems. Relax there, YouTube. And I put a perfectly good undamaged bolt in the hole that I tapped. So, yeah, that stuff will pucker up your butthole, because if you destroy the threads in the block, you're in trouble. There are kits you can get where you can drill them out and you can put an insert in there, and I don't have them, so I would have had to order them and all that stuff, and I didn't even want to deal with it. I just wanted to fix the one that I had, and I did. So the heads, you probably just saw it. It's back on, rebolted on, torqued for the first time, first and only time. I did put that silicone back in there, and it does ooze out right to the front cover, so that's kind of what I thought might be going on there. So heads in. Really now it's just nuts and bolts, putting everything back together. I've got that exhaust manifold cable tied back. You probably saw that at the very start of this one. I'm going to cut that cable tie and relieve the stress from that exhaust manifold turbo, the whole system. Right, it's all panicked there, or it's all tied up there. And then I'll just throw a couple of nuts, or maybe I'll just put all the exhaust studs in. I don't know. It's all got to happen at some point. Might as well do it. So yeah, a little bit of excitement on this one. Holy shit. All right, so heads on, cams are in, all the caps are on, everything's torqued, and I put the exhaust manifold on and torqued all those. Those are 49 to 53 Newton meters. New exhaust gasket. I'll give you guys a quick look at that, and then I'm gonna hit the brakes on this video. I gotta go get the kids and stuff, and then I'll finish this car up tonight. It's not gonna take too long. Well, let me give you a quick kind of look at where we are. So cams are all in, everything's torqued. I've set the timing, so here's the one timer mark, and here's the other. And then when you do your actual final timing, these two are going to be down here in the middle. You gotta kind of rotate them when you put the chain on. And then exhaust manifold, new gaskets in there. You can see that. Yeah, that's it. I gotta run and get the children. Maybe grab some beers too while I'm out there, and then come back later tonight, and then we'll finish this up. A couple of beers.